Welcome, fellow members of the Esoteric Order of Gamers. Joy of unboxing time, and something very exciting arrived in the post today. Here it is, Destinies by Lucky Duck Games. The wonderful people at Lucky Duck Games signed me up for a pledge of Destinies, and I'm going to check it out here, unbox everything, and not only am I going to unbox it, of course, in the very near future, I'll have a rule summary and reference available for this game, and we'll be checking out more about Destinies as I get to know it. Now, the original Kickstarter campaign for this game raised about $627,000. Yep, it was very successful, and originally this game was branded with Time of Legends branding, and that is the Joan of Arc game, of course, by Mythic Games. Now, of course, there was a bit of a dispute there with Pascal Bernard, who was the original designer of Joan of Arc. And so the end result of that is that they've taken off the Time of Legends branding, and it's just Destinies now. But nothing about the game has changed. There was some crossover stuff with Joan of Arc that hasn't appeared, but unimportant stuff. This is the game. It's app-driven. It's competitive, which is really exciting because it's a role-playing story-type game. And usually those types of games tend to be cooperative. It's really good to see a competitive game in this kind of space. It's also app-driven. It uses scanning. You'll know, of course, that Lucky Duck Games have created a range of games that are connected to an app. They're sort of detective games and things like that. So this one uses that kind of system to give you a RPG-like experience. So in this pack, there was quite a lot. We've got the core set here. We've got Myth and Folklore expansion, the Bound by Fate. And can I just say, I love these covers. Beautiful typographic covers, really colourful and simple. They're really nice. And then we've got Destiny's Sea of Sand expansion. There's also some nice player mats and some metal coins as well. Let's check it all out right now. Okay, here's the core set, Destinies. Let's see what's inside the box. Now, apart from the fact that Lucky Duck Games are really nice people, they're just lovely, and they send me a few games to check out now and again. And there's that one, Vikings Gone Wild, which is a fantastic card game that I play all the time. It's really enjoyable. They have some nice stuff coming out, and it's great to see such ambitious stuff coming from this studio. Of course, the other well-known game by Lucky Duck Games is the Chronicles of Crime series, which is also app-driven. And, gee, how do they find the time to churn out so much amazing stuff? Okay, here's the rulebook. And there's actually miniatures in this game as well, which is, I think, a first for Lucky Duck Games. Of course, I will be summarising this and making it available on the Esoteric Order of Gamers website at orderofgamers.com. So look out for that. There's a rulebook, icons reference on the back. And look at this. Well, it's a beautiful insert. And look at that. There's a little space here for every single little miniature in this insert. It's just gorgeous. I'm really impressed with that. And look, I've just got to check this out right to start with, because look at this fantastic miniature. This is a wonderful piece. Look at that. Look at that scorpion tail going up there. Wow. Bang! Lucky Duck Games makes miniatures, and check them out. That is fantastic. Now, I'm really happy to see that these little miniatures are in the scale of Joan of Arc. So while there might not be any sort of crossover material, we can certainly use these miniatures for Joan of Arc because they are the same small scale. And aren't they gorgeous? I don't know about you, but there is something about this tiny scale that's always appealed to me. I think it's because I used to play Epic 40,000, the Warhammer game, when I was young. And I just love the tiny miniatures because you can just get lots of them on the board, and they're really tiny and compact. Lovely. And in fact, this one here looks quite familiar. I think this is actually in the Joan of Arc set. So, yeah, great to have some extra content. Let's not mention the Time of Legends thing. Shh, we won't mention that. It's all licensing guff. But what we have are some lovely miniatures here of the same scale and in the same genre. We'll go back to the miniatures in a moment. Let's see what we have here. So it looks like we've got 3 nice thick player boards. Aren't they lovely? Look how thick they are. They're nice double boards. Holes in them there. This is, you can see, there's a recess here and then all these individual holes. Lovely colours. 3 of those. I believe it's 1 to 3 players, so you can play it solo as well. Some nice little counter sheets. Again, lovely thick card. Really thick. It's great. Really high quality. Another sheet there. Ooh, I'm getting really excited about this. Looking forward to playing it. And look, this insert is gorgeous. Look, there's a little lid there. Now, whether we'll be able to sleeve these cards and fit into these recesses, probably not. But then again, you know, I think for a game like this, you're not shuffling these and using them a lot, so that it's not necessary that you sleeve them, really. Let's have a look. So here's our first deck of cards. Now, as you can see, they all have these scanning codes on them. So you'll be scanning things as you play, and this is going to give a lot of, I believe, a lot of detail and everything to the game, because you can scan items that do various things, scan characters, see what the results are. It's going to be really interesting to play. What have we got here? Yep, these look like items. Horse, shield. There we go, various items that you can get. And now these are sticking together a little bit because my hands are cold. Winter here in New Zealand. Food, rosaries, there we go. They've all got scans on them, so they can all interact in different ways by scanning them in. Looking forward to trying this out. There we go. On the back of these cards, of these character cards, there's a bit of description there. Now, apparently your decisions really do make a difference to the story in this one. Here's another deck of cards. Now, in case you don't know anything about Joan of Arc, this is set in the Joan of Arc period, which is kind of, I've got to test myself here, 16th century? I hope I've got that right. No, I just checked, it's 15th century. Oh, it's relatively close. 15th century France, of course, Joan of Arc, medieval setting. And it's got a healthy kind of dose of fantasy as well, and also that kind of semi-religious fantasy, demons and devils and all that kind of thing as well. So it's a really interesting setting, interesting milieu. Saints and demons and all that kind of stuff. So we've got those cards. There's the back. There's another deck down here. More lovely items. Heaps and heaps of items. Medicine, herbs, alcohol, sword. And everything has got an individual code. I can't imagine the complexity of creating a game like this. It must be unbelievable. Having done a lot of board game design myself, it's complex enough doing a board game, let alone linking it to an app. Can't imagine how difficult that is. Right, now we've got this deck of tiles. And these appear to be map tiles, nicely illustrated. Just thin ones this time. This looks nice, very evocative little settings there. Kind of a snowbound ruins. Presumably you'll be travelling to all these different locations. They're all individually illustrated. Wow. Oh, look, and they're double-sided as well. Wow. There's a heap of writing. Oh, no, hold on. These are sort of like grey sides. Oh, okay. So there we have like a bridge crossing a causeway, and then you've got this sort of greyed outside. Don't know how that works. A bit foggy. A bit of fog of war, perhaps. Interesting. 2 lovely bags of dice. Look at those very nice dice. Aren't they gorgeous? Love that purple colour. Very nice. And some nice plain wooden tokens. Very classy. Well, let's keep looking at some of these lovely little miniatures. And as I said, some of these I recognise from Joan of Arc. I've seen this werewolf, for example. Look at that. It's great. I really must take a photo of where all these miniatures go in this insert before I take them all out. Look at that. Fantastic rat swarm. That's one of the best rat swarms I've ever seen. That really looks like a swarm. Usually they're just a flat level of rats, but that's horrible. Then you've got all these little characters. These are very nice. Huge amount of character in such a tiny space. There's a horrible little demon thing. Look at that. These are gorgeous. Oh, I'm extremely impressed with these. Just beautiful at that tiny scale. And actually, it really works for a game like this. If you're travelling on those little tiles and making up a map, there's something really nice about having smaller scale miniatures on those tiles, I think. Sometimes normal heroic scale miniatures can look a bit out of place on those tiles. This guy looks like a little skeleton. Please excuse my grotty fingers, by the way. I've just been doing some modelling stuff, and that's split, and there's a bit of super glue on my fingers, so they look horrible, I've just realised. Sorry about that. There's the bishop character. I recognise him from Joan of Arc. Yes, these are really good. Really nice. Look at that. They're all individual sculpts as well, which is just astonishing. I mean, there's no repetition here. They're all different characters. Well, as you can see, there's a heap of sculpts there, and they're all just lovely, tiny little miniatures. Look at them all in there, and little individual places for each one. What a lovely insert. Well, as you can see, that packs away beautifully. It goes in there, and pops in there, and of course we'll have a space for counters and things as well. Lovely. So that is the core box for Destinies, and I'm really excited about it. I wasn't expecting all those high quality miniatures in there. It looks fantastic, but that is just the beginning. There's more to see. We've got all these other boxes over here. Let's see what's in them. I'm not sure what order to look at these in, but let's go with Sea and Sand, shall we? Because that's the next big box one. So this is embarking on an epic journey to reach the sands of Mardia, a pirate fortress on the shores of North Africa. Is your army strong enough to break through its walls, or will the African heat, merciless pirate raiders, and the Ifrit, a creature of Arabic legend, see your dreams of glory sinking into the sea of sand forever? So it seems to be a whole new campaign. Wow. I really do enjoy these story-driven games. They're great, aren't they? This is what it's all about. Not dry adding up of victory points. It's about adventure and excitement and story. So here's our little rule book. Very simple. There's 2 pages of extra stuff. Oh, look at this insert. It's beautiful. I really like this because everything is just presented so beautifully, and it really does make a difference. You know, you don't want some scummy cardboard thing in there. You want a beautiful insert. It's a lovely object. Games are beautiful objects. Look at this. It's just great. So we've got some more map tiles. And here we have many mysterious desert locations. Every one individually illustrated. So much work has gone into this. Fantastic stuff. Look. There's a port. I'm getting really excited. I can hardly wait to play this. It looks great fun. Wow. A big deck of cards. These are going to be all the various characters that we meet, obviously. Don't want to give too much away. More items. And then again, individually made spaces for each figure. Let's look at this big boss figure, and what a beauty it is. Look at this Ifrit. That is stunning. What a great figure. Wow. Very exciting stuff. This is going to be great. Look at that. That is a stunning figure. I'm really, really impressed with that. It's got a lovely sense of motion going on. It's really good stuff. And of course, you know, if you look at your scale, look at that. How terrifying. And then we've got 15 smaller miniatures of little characters. I'll just show you a selection of them. Gee, these might come in handy for something like Tales of the Arabian Nights, perhaps. I do sometimes mix and match components from different games if they have matching themes. Little fellow sitting down. Here's your classic young adventurer from the Arabian Nights. Well, another lovely set, and it looks like a whole new adventure to be played there. This is really exciting stuff. That's Sea of Sand. But wait, there's more. Let's have a look at Bound by Fate. And what do we got here? Well, in this one, you'll be joined by a fellow player, forming a team and sharing common destiny. Together you'll fight against time and a second pair of players. Everything you need to enjoy all 11 scenarios of the base game, the Sea of Sand expansion, and Myth and Folklore expansion in a 2 versus 2 mode. So it's a team play mode. Interesting. I've seen this pop up in more games lately, these team modes. I really must give it a go, but sometimes it's difficult to get the people together. But yep, this seems dedicated to team play. And they didn't have to do too much to the rules, there's just 2 pages of rules there. Another beautiful insert. Look at this. Look at that lovely way the corner is just chopped out there. That's really nice. Lovely. So what they've done is given us another game board, like so, and some more counters. These look like some little bases you can clip onto the small miniatures. More dice and counters. Look at this. I know I'm going on about the insert, but check that out. I haven't seen anything like that for quite some time. Or if ever. That's just beautiful. And another deck of cards. More characters to meet. And they're all characters. Oh, look at that. Heaps. There you go. Well, that looks very interesting. A beautiful insert for just what is a team play expansion. I mean, it's gorgeous. I don't want to consolidate any of these boxes because they're so beautifully packaged. And finally, we've got the Myth and Folklore. Actually, before we look at this last one, let's have a look at these game mats. And these are pretty impressive. Look, if you just cannot stand playing with a cardboard mat, you've got this lovely neoprene mouse mat material mat, which you can use. And look, it's all been die cut so you can put your counters of whatever in these little spaces. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Lovely little extra. And something that I'm always a huge fan of, which are metal coins. I do like metal coins in a game. Just gives that sense of weight to the gameplay. Really nice. And look, they're just beautiful, generic sort of medieval coins. You could use these in all kinds of games. Okay, let's check out the last one. It's the Myth and Folklore expansion. In this one it says, expand your game, challenge yourself with 3 new scenarios for Destinies. Lets you visit amazing historical sites and stand against mythical creatures, the Gargoyle, Doppelganger and Melusine. And whoops, my camera just stopped there for a moment, so I've already ripped off the shrink wrap. So just imagine I've taken off the shrink wrap. And as you can see, another beautiful insert inside. And what we have here are a bunch of more tiles, all individually illustrated as usual. So many wonderful tracts of land to discover and explore. We have more cards. More characters, of course. Heaps of content here. Lots and lots of adventuring to do. Leeches. Leeching. Fishing. Jesting. Counting. Will you choose the right item at the right time, I wonder? Boars? As they say in Twelfth Night, will you go hunt, my lord? And what do we have here in the way of spectacular? Look at this. It's a gargoyle. Another really impressive large miniature. Again, look at the scale. You've just got to get the human scale of these things. Look at that. That's one of the great things about this scale, is you can really get a sense of these huge adversaries. Wow. So, yep, stunning stuff. That'll be really easy to paint too, because it's a gargoyle. So, you know, stone, dry brushing, bit of wash, you're done. There are more creepy looking things here to encounter. What's this? Oh, it's a mermaid. Another winged demon of some sort. More characters and people to encounter. It looks like there's a miniature for every one of the character cards, as far as I can tell. There's certainly a wide variety of these little miniatures. Look at that guy. Well, I'm really going to have to get the magnifying glass on to paint these little guys, but they're going to look great. And they're actually really easy to paint at this size. Well, my friends, that's it. That's Myth and Folklore expansion. And I've got to say, I'm pretty blown away by the presentation of Destinies by Lucky Duck Games. It looks fantastic. Now, of course, you're probably wondering, well, what's this app we keep talking about? Well, I've just downloaded it, so let's have a look. Checking for update. This is a good thing about apps. You can keep things up to date. So there we go, a quick update. Get the board game. Yes, I can say OK to that. And we can choose here from the original core set or the Sea of Sand expansion. So let's start with the original core set. And these are the different stories. So you can get started on a story. So presuming, I won't go too far because I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but say we started with the first one here. In the dead of winter, a monster preys on the town. Among whispers of curses and dark magic, there are a few who will not cower and hide, but go into the night to face the beast. What fate awaits them? What fate indeed. So I've got to download that and start playing the adventure. Once that's downloaded, and you can play without being connected to the internet, which is great, and it saves your progress in the game as you go. You can select your game, play, and then it'll ask you for a game mode. And I'm going to stop there because I don't want to spoil anything about the app and how it works, but I'll let you know how it goes once I get a chance to play it. Well, there you go, Destinies by Lucky Duck Games, and some really impressive stuff here. I've got to say, their Chronicles of Crime series is really impressive. I've played one, I've got to play some more. It's had some 3D stuff in it as well. It was fantastic. But this kind of stuff is really up my alley. Destinies, medieval fantasy stuff, really, really good. And what about the presentation, eh? I mean, the graphic design and illustration here is just gorgeous, beautifully presented. The storage is amazing. The miniatures look fantastic. Yeah, really impressive stuff. So, of course, go to orderofgamers.com soon. I will, as soon as I can, get a rules summary and reference made for this game for you to make playing it easier. And check out all the other stuff on the website while you're there, because there's about 370-odd rules summaries there for you to download, and hundreds of videos as well. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. This is Peter, Universal Head, from the Esoteric Order of Gamers. Good gaming, and bye for now. And just wait, a last pleasant surprise this morning. This came today, a day after the other stuff. And it's a beautiful mouse mat material playmat. And check that out, what a lovely surface to play on. Look, it's stitched around the edges. It's mouse mat material, it feels lovely, and it's got that cover illustration on it. Divided into a grid, no doubt, to put your terrain tiles on. Beautiful stuff, a lovely extra.